Hello everyone, and welcome to Bookends, the television program about all events and activities at Frederick County Public Libraries. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite events, Frederick Reads, and I have today with me Marie Slaby, who is here on the library staff and also a fellow committee member on the Frederick Reads Committee. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, I'm happy to be here.
Good. All right, well, why don't we talk a little bit about, first of all, what is Frederick Reads? Can you tell us a little bit about how Frederick Reads came about?
Sure. The National Endowment for the Humanities did a study several years ago that identified that the average American adult reads only one book a year. And as a library system, we obviously feel like people ought to have the opportunity to read more than that. And Frederick Reads was started in 2006 with a group of community partners who wanted to make reading part of the cultural identity of Frederick. And so we started in 2006 by inviting author Frank DeFord to come make a free public appearance in Frederick. And it's gotten bigger and better every year since then.
Well, I remember that day, and it was a wonderful, rather, not enormous event. He actually spoke 3 times in Frederick, and we've sort of followed that format over the years. We've, changed it depending on who the author is that we bring to town. But we always try to have an author that's going to bring in a new audience. I think we've developed this core of people that will come and participate in all the programs and activities we have.
It's true. We have different genres. We've had novelists, we've had memoirists, fiction, nonfiction, and poetry. So we've really run the gamut and hopefully appealed to a lot of different audiences with it.
Well, why don't we talk about this year? We have moved a little bit away from the idea of having one specific author and grown it into an overarching theme so that we can have several authors. And this is purely because the Frederick community has really embraced having authors here. So this year, you and I and other people on the committee came up with an idea to have a theme of medicine and miracles.
It's a good one because Hood College's colloquium was interested in medical ethics, and a number of our other partners had been asking for specific authors who had to do with medicine and ethics. So it was a good fit for our partnerships.
It sure was, and we have had one author request over the years that has come up a number of times, and her name is Rebecca Skloot. She is incredibly in demand, and I'm pleased to say that even where she is based, she had heard about Frederick Reads, and when we got in touch with her, she very quickly accepted, and so we're having her here. But actually, why don't we run through the whole series, because we have several months lined up of authors. Now in March, we are very excited. This is our old Frederick Reads friend who's coming back to help us out. But we invited an author named Robin Oliveira. She's never been here yet, but she wrote a book called My Name is Mary Sutter. And I think you can explain why this is going to be of interest to this local community.
It is a fantastic book about a young woman who is a nurse midwife at the beginning of the Civil War, and she wants to become a surgeon. She travels down to the D.C. area, and the book takes place in the first couple of years of the Civil War, and actually the final chapters take place during the Maryland campaign of the Civil War. So Boonesboro, South Mountain, Frederick, and Antietam are all in there, and so it's going to have a lot of interest, local interest for our Civil War buffs.
Absolutely, and this is a historical fiction novel, which we have not ever had that genre before, so I think that's going to be appealing too. So our old friend who's going to come back and help us out is Cokie Roberts, and Cokie has written quite a bit about women in American history. And when we realized that we were able to get Robin Oliveira here to talk about her book, My Name is Mary Sutter, we got in touch with Cokie and said, this sounds like it's something that you would really be interested in. And she got right back in touch with us and said, I would love to come and interview Robin on stage. So that event is on March 27th.
At Frederick Community College at 2 p.m.
Right.
And it's perfect because it also falls in March, which is National Women's History Month. So it's a perfect month to have 2 women, a novelist and a historian, talking about women's roles in shaping our nation's history. So
Absolutely.
it's a great combination.
Absolutely. And she even acknowledges the National Museum of Civil War Medicine here in Frederick in her books.
Yes,
So
Robin Oliveira did quite a lot of research here.
that's right. So we're looking forward to that. And then we move into this great event with Rebecca Skloot.
April is traditionally our Frederick Reads Month. That's when we've traditionally had our author until we expanded this year to the 3-month format. But April is, we're hosting Rebecca Skloot in April, and she is sort of the keynote of the series.
That's right. And we are so fortunate to have our partners who make all of these events possible. Hood College is deeply involved with this particular event, but they agreed to move it off of the Hood campus to the Weinberg Center because we expect a large turnout. People are going to want to come and hear about Rebecca Skloot and her book, which is called The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. And maybe you can just kind of fill in our viewers a little bit about that book.
Sure. It's another one that has a great Maryland connection because it takes place partially in Baltimore at Johns Hopkins University, because there was a young woman in the 50s named Henrietta Lacks who was diagnosed with cervical cancer. She was treated at Hopkins, and unfortunately she did pass away, but Hopkins at the time collected some tissue samples of her cancerous cells, which they then were able to culture. And this is the first time in history that human cells were able to be cultured continuously, which is why it's called the immortal cells of Henrietta Lacks. And they went on to be used in a great deal of medical research that has helped with a number of treatments for diseases like cervical cancer, polio, and many others. So it's had a big impact.
She's in tremendous demand as a speaker, and we were in competition with a number of other cities to get her. And to me, it's really rewarding that she had heard of Frederick Reads, and she knew what we were doing here, you know, across the country in Frederick, and turned down some other invitations specifically so that she could be here in this community. So I think it's going to be a fabulous event. So that's Thursday, April 19th at 7:30 at the Weinberg Center. And maybe you can just mention a couple of the partners who we are involved with. The Frederick Reads Consortium is an enormous, broad-based group of about 30 organizations and lots of individuals.
That's right, and we have partners with government, with nonprofits, with arts organizations, with businesses, and some of our largest partners are, you mentioned already, Hood College, their Hansen Trust for the Enhancement of Communities, and their colloquium contributed quite a lot. Frederick Community College is always deeply involved with Frederick Reads. The Frederick Arts Council has been involved with Frederick Reads right from the very beginning. We also have some support from the Delaplane Foundation, and there are many other businesses and organizations and individuals who contribute to make Frederick Reads happen.
That's right, and every year it's grown, and you know, even though I work for the library is not a contributor financially to Frederick Reads, and it's amazing to me that the community has stepped up in a way to help us make these programs possible in Frederick.
Well, I think our partners are just as committed as we are to making Frederick Reads have literature as part of its cultural identity. The Weinberg is very generously donated space, so has the Delaplane Visual Arts Education Center, and so has Frederick Community College. So we've been able to host these authors at various locations, free and open to the public. The events this year are all unticketed, so people can just show up and come and enjoy some great programs.
That's right, and come early because we do expect a lot of people at all of these events. So.
Well, that's a great point, because one of the reasons we expanded this year to multiple authors is because we have been filling all 3 venues each year. So it's exciting to be able to offer it at many venues with many authors this year, so we can bring in even a larger audience and touch more people.
Right. Well, I hope people are as excited as we are. I mean, we're thrilled about it. If people want to get more information about these events, tell us how to do that.
Well, we do have a website, which is frederickreads.org, and you are also welcome to check on the library website. We'll have links to all of our Frederick Reads events. in addition to our author events, our partners also do a number of small programs. We have art exhibits going on, film showings, book clubs. So there are lots of other events that are related with medicine, health and healing, and literature that people might want to check out.
Okay, terrific. And we'll try to have all that information as updated as possible on the frederickreads.org website, and then also we do the Facebook thing, and usually when we have the latest information, that's the first place we put it out. So Facebook and Twitter are helpful, and you can sign up for those and be the first to know. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you all for joining us, and we hope to see you at the library soon.